Good evening and welcome to the Congo Hour. Hope you are having a super duper Sunday. My name is Wayna along with Trippy and we're here together.
Yeah, we want to thank you so much for watching. We have two guests coming on.
Yes.
And plus we had the return of Sammy's Corner. He hasn't been here in what seems like...
He was here last week.
Oh. Well, before last week, he wasn't here for what seemed like
a
long time. Yeah.
Trippy, before we go to our interview, I wanna talk about the ice cream festival. Had a chance to go there today, and you went to.
Yeah, we went. It was
Your mom was
really.
there.
Was she? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
Okay. It was a really well put together event. It was packed.
Yes.
It was nice. It was something for the children, something for pretty much everyone who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Almost too crowded. I mean,
Did
the
you get
lines
ice cream?
the lines were too long. Yeah, the lines were too long to get ice cream.
I got a smoothie. It was a fruit
Yeah, I
stand.
did get a smoothie.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I brought an outfit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
Ice cream festival brought it out. Yeah, they had.
Yeah, I didn't really
all
know what to
kind of
expect.
vendors.
Yeah, it was. They had a live band. It was really nice.
It was.
And they had a shuttle service taking people. I think from the merchandise mart, and then because people were even parking. That's how crowded it was. People were parking down there, and the festival was shuttling people back and forth. Yeah. But it was really nice.
And I thought it was well organized.
Mm-hmm.
For the amount of people that were there.
It was.
So.
I guess you can't really. I guess you hope for that many people to come.
Right.
So it was almost. You can't really blame the festival that the lines were long because it was just such a great turnout. Because it was it's a really. A great event, so I'm looking forward to next year already. I want to thank County Exec Tom Gordon for bringing that back, like he said he would.
Yeah.
It's really, I think the entire community really appreciates him for doing that.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm really excited about our very first guest. It's Miss Delaware.
All right.
And it's Brittany Lewis. Welcome to the Congo Hour.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Most
I don't believe she had enough nerve to say she's nervous.
He always calls people out.
How can she be nervous?
I know, because when you're running, I mean, aren't there like thousands of people and a whole bunch of judges?
There are. It's like you put that other persona on. It's like Britney Fierce.
Okay, I got you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your title that you just won.
I'm extremely excited to represent the Miss Delaware Scholarship Organization this year. It's truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware, and I've been here. I've received my master's degree from Wilmington University. I'm also a 7th grade English language arts teacher at Prestige Academy Charter School for Boys here in Wilmington, Delaware.
That's another reason. How can she be nervous? She's like in control of 30 kids at some time.
Or at least you're trying to be, right?
Right. Well, they're wonderful.
All right. What do you teach at Prestige?
English.
Do you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And how did you get to teach at Prestige?
I'm actually a part of the Teach for America program. So Teach for America is a national organization. It's under the AmeriCorps program, and we dedicate 2 years to serving one of the inner city schools.
Oh, okay. All right. So once you do that, once you serve your 2 years, you'll transfer to another school possibly, or
the possibilities are open. I can continue to work at Prestige, or I could teach at another school, or transition to a completely different career, perhaps go into education policy. It definitely, the purpose behind the program is to give you a feel for the educational system the way it is today. There's nothing like actually the existential experience of being in the classroom and teaching the students and truly, relating to them and finding out what the problems are within education and the positives as well.
Okay. So did your class and the students at school, did they know that you were running?
They did. They're so funny. Miss Lewis, you're going to be on television. You're Miss Delaware. It's funny because I actually received a couple of emails from parents as well as students, congratulating me and saying that they saw me in the news. So
that was nice.
Yeah.
Your platform is something that's very dear to my heart, and that's domestic violence. Talk a little bit about that.
So it's always hard to talk about this. A couple of years ago, I lost my sister to a fatal domestic violence incident. And as a result, I said that I wanted to use the adversity I'd faced, the adversity that my family had faced, to make a difference. And I said I was going to do that through the Miss America organization. And as cliche as it sounds, the crown's a microphone. So I've tried to use my platform of domestic violence awareness to not only share my sister's story, but to help others and to help educate others to recognize domestic violence, at its onset. Because it's not always physical; it's also verbal and emotional abuse.
Definitely.
So for your platform, what will you do over the next year to promote? your platform?
Well, my platform's been ongoing. Obviously, it's a
Okay.
live platform, so it's not something that I just made up for the sake of doing a pageant.
Right.
Currently, I work through a 3-part initiative: communication, education, and legislation. So
Okay.
we talk about communication, going out to various colleges, especially working with college girls ages 20 to 24 for their greatest risk to be in a domestic violence relationship, sharing my story, educating them. You know, in terms of education and talking about prestige with my boys, we actually just underwent a huge community service project and a community-based learning project where the boys wore purple for 3 days. We sold wristbands, they collected money, they raised cans, and all the things that we collected were then donated to the Delaware Coalition Against Domestic Violence, which was huge. They also distributed posters and public service announcements and brochures on domestic violence to, you know, not only be hung up in the school, but also be disseminated throughout the community, which was great. And then the last part of the initiative is legislation. So I've had the opportunity to meet with the Department of Justice. I've had the opportunity to meet with Governor Markell.
Okay.
And I'm going to continue to work with legislators to talk about the laws that we have put in place regarding domestic violence and talk about some new initiatives that we can push forward.
So I guess throughout your research, you found that there's still work to be done legislatively around domestic violence?
Well, there's always work to be done, and it
Okay.
really should be an ongoing conversation. And I'm very appreciative the Violence Against Women Act obviously started here by when he was former Senator Biden, and you know, I'm glad that we've renewed the act, and you know, we're constantly making changes and we're constantly pushing forward, but there's always work to be done. There's always a woman that needs support. One of the big things that I'd like to do is create almost a multi-complex where we can house all of the needs for someone that's in a domestic violence relationship. So oftentimes women, you know, a shelter is not enough. You also may need daycare, you may need legal assistance, you may need, you know, some type of counseling, you know, and these are all located in various places. Who knows if these women have access to, not just women, men as well, but who knows if they have access to vehicles, what their financial situation may be. So if we can kind of create a multi-complex where we can house all of these needs in one central area, it would be extremely, you know, just helpful for the survivors of domestic violence. And there's actually a couple models that are out right now. One of the big ones is Burke's Women in Crisis. That's in Reading, Pennsylvania, and that's where I got the idea.
Okay.
I was just thinking that I think it's very good that you were able to share that, especially with the young men, so it can get embedded in their brain early, like don't do domestic violence. So.
It's so funny because they didn't realize what domestic violence was. You know, some of them had shared personal stories with me saying, you know, I've seen this in my household and I didn't know that's what it was, and I didn't know it was wrong. So I think it was, you know, huge to share not only my personal experience with my boys, makes me human, right? Because we think of teachers to be human and they don't have those real experiences, but also, you know, to get them passionate about something like that, it just meant the world to me.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you really hit on a pretty good point. I guess sometimes when we grow up seeing things, we don't realize that it is wrong.
Right.
So, and we can grow up and do the same thing, kind of continue that trend.
Generational curse.
That's a huge statistic. You know, oftentimes I think they say like 66% of those that, you know, are the abuser in the domestic situation have experienced domestic violence in their own household, or they've seen it. So it's true. It's very cyclical.
Wow.
Very
So as far as your you know, you're running for Miss America, what would you recommend to any young ladies out there who want to be in pageants?
Wow. Just go for it. Be yourself. I mean, I started doing this on a whim. A lot of the other girls that I competed with have been doing it since they were very little. I started competing my senior year of undergrad. I had a ton of loans. I knew I was getting ready to embark on a new journey, and I had a ton of loans that I needed help with. And the Miss America organization is the largest scholarship provider for women. So I said, let me get involved in this, you know. And it's been extremely financially fruitful after winning a lot of local titles and various awards at the state level. You know, all of those comes with scholarship money. So, you know, be yourself, go for it, get the scholarship money, and choose a platform that's close to your heart, and push that and try and make a difference in the community.
Okay.
Right. That's good.
So if anyone wanted to reach out to you, do you have like a website or email? Or?
I do. Anyone that wants to reach out to me can find me on Instagram at Miss Delaware 14, or you can find me on Facebook at Miss Delaware 2014 Brittany Lewis. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me here.
thank
It's
you.
been
See, it wasn't that hard, was it?
no, not at
Okay,
all.
all right, that's good.
We'll have you back again.
Please do.
We'll
Okay.
do, most
All right.
definitely. All right.
Who's coming on next, Wayne?
We have 3 gentlemen coming on that's going to talk about something that's going on, I want to say, from Newcastle. It goes all the way to Claymont. So,
Okay.
I was
It's a
like,
pretty
really?
good description.
It is. So
Yeah, it wasn't, but I guess people can
because I
find
want
out.
people to not turn the channel to
Okay.
something
All
else
right.
and stay
Okay.
tuned.
All right, I got
How
you.
about that?
All right.
All right.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. We hope that you enjoyed our first interview with the newly crowned Miss Delaware. Now, Mayna will introduce our second guest.
All right. So I get a text message from Miss May Jarman asking can her husband and other gentlemen come on, and of course, for Miss May, I said yes. So we have Mr. Jarman, and I'll have. What was you going to say?
Me introduce it.
Okay, you'll introduce. Not a problem.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Mr. Gary Collins and our state representative, J.J. Johnson.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
And what is it that you want to talk about this evening?
I would like to talk about a pressing problem that we have in our community, and it's a problem that is generated by Peninsula Compost Company, and it's an older problem.
What community is that, Mr. Jarman? I'm sorry.
It's the Route 9 corridor from
Okay.
Southbridge down through Newcastle Avenue down to Newcastle City.
You ever go over 495 and get hit with the fumes? No? The wind
No.
must have been blowing in the
Yeah.
opposite direction.
Yes.
Towards Jersey.
Yeah. So for the past 2 years, we have been wrestling with this problem, and we have meetings with Peninsula and DENREC trying to resolve this problem, but we have not been able to resolve it. So right now, we are going to be requesting a public hearing. That public hearing is going to be held at Rose Hill Community Center. We don't have a date yet, but the state representative will make us aware based on the feedback that he gets from DENREC. So we keep an eye on when Peninsula files their request for a permit, because we do want the community involved, because we consider this to be a major problem. And what we would like the community to do is each time they smell that odor is to call the hotline number.
Okay.
And I'd like to give that number if I could.
Sure.
That number is 1-800-662-8802. That's 1-800-662-8802.
I'm going to have to get that number before we leave because I'll be calling like every other day.
Yes, and I have some copies with that number on it, so you're
Okay.
certainly welcome to have
All right,
that number.
Thank you.
And we're asking people if they can get some kind of a log of when the smell is, so we can have a dialogue of when we know it's smelling.
Right.
Because there's some people you can smell it one day, next day you may not smell it. But then it's usually early in the morning. It's early in the morning when you first walk out the door there, it is there, and it is bad, as you know.
Yes.
To piggyback on what Mr. Collins said, it is extremely important to keep a log. And on that log, you should try to get the name of the person that you're talking to. Sometimes they won't give you the name. They may give you a badge number. So take the badge number and also get the date and time that you placed the call. And hold on to the log, keep it close, because when we have that public hearing, some of that information will be shared at that public hearing. We're also asking if any pastors are listening to publish the hotline number in the church bulletins. We've done it in our church, which is Bethel AME, and some of the parishioners did not know where the odor was coming from. So it's extremely important that we identify who's calling, where the odor is coming from, the date and time and place. And again, that number is 1-800-662-8802.
Okay. For those who may not know, either any of you gentlemen can answer this question. What is the goal of the public hearing?
I could answer that.
Okay.
They're renewing their permit to have the operation there.
Okay.
And we're going to be there to stop them from renewing their permit. I'd like to say that thanks for having us here. And we really appreciate it. And I also like to thank Lee Jarman as well as Jerry, because this is a grassroots movement. You know, it's good when the elected officials complain, but it's even more important when the citizens with a
That's so much
grassroots
more
program,
important. It is.
you know, complain. They've been dealing with it for 2 years. I've been dealing with it for 6. because it started in 2008 when they first proposed it. And at a time, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I thought that sooner or later they would be able to control the odor. But I'm of the opinion now that they can't control it. They just should move the operation.
Right.
And another thing, it should be pointed out that where the Peninsula Compost is at is right near the bridge where they had that pile of dirt that caused the bridge to tilt. And those workers are working down there now. And was last week I was there with the Secretary of Transportation from the feds, and they were complaining about the odor. We had Senator Coons as well as Senator Carper. They were there. So the only good thing about this accident, it gives the officials a real first-hand knowledge of what we've been going through for the last 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I really want to stress the importance, like you said, Mr. Jarman, of the community being a part of this. Like all three of you really said it, and calling that number that you mentioned earlier.
That's extremely important. Now there's about 12 civic associations along Newcastle Avenue.
Okay.
And we have reached out to the civics in the city of Wilmington also, not only the civics in the city of Wilmington, but also the civic, well, I should say the current administration, and there's about I guess about 53 churches along Route 9, and there's daycares in some of the churches, and we're just concerned about the impact that this is having on our seniors, such as myself, and also the children that are growing up. We don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on them at a later date, and it's just a terrible odor for them to just place on our neighborhood, on our communities. And I was mentioning earlier when I came out of church this morning, as you know, I go to Bethel AMA, and the odor was strong. And I know that calls were made this morning to let them know that there was a terrible odor in the air. And so we're just out here, and we know it's going to be tough, but we're up for the battle.
Yeah, that's why it's important for the community to really be a part of the movement.
Yes.
Because of course there is going to be fight back, but the community is just as strong, if not stronger.
Yeah. One of the things that I want to do a little later is to make sure the public knows when the public hearing is going to be. And we have to watch, and that's where I'm so pleased with our state representative, because they're going to let him know when that permit comes in, and that will be alert so we can file the required documentation for the public hearing, because we don't want to miss that.
And whenever you find out, make sure you let us know, so we can have you back on, so just to have another push for people to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I did tell my wife that you were so gracious. And I said I was going to thank both of you. Of course, I just admire the both of you, as you probably, and I've told you that on more than one occasion.
I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, I admire you because you're. I mean, this is just something small that you do. I mean, I know that you're doing other things, and we'll talk about them another time. But I appreciate you for being so active, you and your wife, in the community.
Yeah, no, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, this grassroots we have, we just started having a meeting up at Rose Hill, 5 or 6 of us, and then it kept building up, and we said we have to come up with some kind of a name.
Okay.
So it's a 913 Coalition ad hoc group dedicated to getting Peninsula closed down and moved.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's what we want to do.
I'm with you on that,
And
Mr. Collins.
and we are focused on this one issue. We've got other issues, but we're just focused on this one issue right now to stop them from polluting the air that we breathe.
Okay. And if we can, I would like to give a couple numbers out, a few numbers out before we go to break. I'm going to give the number that you, the 1-800 number, if you can repeat that one more time slowly. Just
it's 1-800-662-8802.
Okay.
Again, that's 1-800-662-8802.
And then for people who may live in that area, who want to be, become more active in a civic group, is there a number that they can call?
Yes, they can call me. My number is 302-654-4782. Again, that's 302-654-4782. And reference the odor issue, because that's what we're dealing with.
Okay. And then finally, State Rep, Mr. JJ, is there a number that people can contact you just for get in touch with you?
Well, they can call my office number,
Okay.
and it's listed, or call my home number, area code 302-322-8882. 3521.
Okay.
And what I'd like to say this also, like I said last week, we were down there checking the bridge out because of the problem at the bridge. And after I left the bridge, I went into Wilmington, and all the traffic that normally would be on 495 is coming through the city now. And with the odor from Peninsula Compost and the diesel trucks coming through the city, it's adding insult to injury.
Yes.
And you know how people like to sit out on the stoop during the summer. I don't think they'll be able to do it this summer.
I agree with you.
Right.
That's a good point.
I had the same feeling because I mean they are they're and I think that's going to be another issue. The streets going to be another issue.
Oh,
with
yeah, it's
the-
going to be damaging to the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for
And thank
coming
you.
on,
You're
and
more
give that
welcome.
1-800 number one more time for
It's
us, please.
1-800-662-8802.
All right, we want to blow their phones up.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
All
Thank you
right.
again.
You're
But
welcome.
thank you for having us again.
All right,
My
thank you.
pleasure. All right, so it's time for my favorite part of the show, Sammy's Corner. We'll take a very quick break and we'll be right back. Good evening and welcome back to the Congo Hour. My favorite person is here for the Congo Hour, and we have on the same colors tonight, Mr. C.
Ooh, pretty
Black
slick.
and white
Black
is
and
today.
white, yes. We planned this thing.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm doing fine.
So I'm always excited. Trippy forgot that you were here last week,
I know.
but I'm
he's-
always excited because, I mean,
He wasn't here, was he?
He wasn't here,
Yeah,
no.
okay, yeah,
But
right.
I'm always in anticipation of what Sammy's Corner is going to be about.
I
so
see,
what we're going
well.
to talk about tonight.
We're going to talk about the community
Okay.
of Lapa
Okay.
and the importance of having a support service like Lapa to keep the community strong. It's the vehicle that keeps us all in touch. Without Lapa, we couldn't do that.
Most definitely.
And so this Channel 28 has been a tremendous tool for us to use. How well we use it and how well we preserve it is up to us.
Right.
I guess I was listening to the show before this, and it was very interesting. And I was listening to the Reverend, who was very astute. But that information could not have gotten to us without live TV, you know. And I believe in calling in now too. I think somehow we're going to have to get this show geared up for at least 20 minutes of people calling in and expressing how they feel about
You talking
certain
about the
things.
Congo Hour? 20
Yes.
minutes, 20 minutes of phone calls?
Yes.
So that means one guest at Sammy's Corner.
One guess and you can kick me off. But
We can't
but-
kick you off.
But I think it's important because I think the community many times wants to respond
Yes.
and they don't get an opportunity to respond, and that was the power of Hazel and Al and Norman. They had geared up for that, which got the community totally involved in issues, and I think that we have enough issues on the Congo Hour that need to hear from our community.
Right.
And when people come on, instead of them just coming on and getting a lecture, they should be able to feed back. And somehow I'm going to leave it up to you to create the call in and make it even more interesting
make
than
it
having
happen.
great guests. You know, just the folks who just left here left people really up in the air because it's a very strong and interesting subject. So I'm excited about making sure, you know, a lot of us are what I call crises oriented.
Right.
You know, we something comes up and we respond to it.
Not preventive.
Yeah, we don't process it. And so if we can process all the things that we're trying to do and not do it in a crisis manner, it seems to work better long range. And the one thing that I'm concerned about right now is the fact that the challenge that was offered to us by Comcast to stay on and be live and to be able to finance it, be able to have these great folks down here who are still running it just as hard and with all the equipment that needs to be brought in, they're still here. I mean, they're great warriors, I'll tell you.
Most definitely.
And they're using antiquated guns to shoot in a real modern war.
Right.
And we're competing, yet they still hang in here and work hard. And I guess I want to say that the board and people like that work hard in keeping communications going. At the same time, they're in dire need of financing. And although we went to City Hall and we did those things to encourage Comcast and city government, the importance of it, well, they should already, they should have known about it. But it took that kind of effort to say, well, maybe we better give it a try. And we're just neophytes. I mean, we're no people who understand communications and all that stuff. But it's because of this great staff here that it's been able to maintain itself, and so my hat goes off to them. I guess one of the things that I'm concerned about right now is making sure that the community understands the importance of them being a part of LAPA, the lease access. And so, it's not just turning your TV on. We have to see them and let people know, and people have to hear about what's going on and how we're still getting plenty support. So the LAPA has a oldies dance, and we need about 400 people to come and participate and be a part. I want the whole Wilmington to know that they're still alive and well, and we want to continue to do things from the community's perspective. And not one of us who turned that TV on should allow this opportunity to show this effort lose out. I mean, they need to be there, not only to have fun, but to show numbers of the interest in Channel 28. Just one time or two times a year we do that to raise money, because although there's been monies set up for us, there's still expenses that sometimes things come up. And so we're really trying to be able to not get in a hole, but to one of the things that happens is that Comcast requested all the people to pay not only current but 1 month ahead. LAPA had to come up with that money, or we would violated the contract. So what we're doing now is trying to get the kind of funding that allows us to be able to, put up that money. And sometimes people are a little behind, but you got to fund that. They don't care about that. And we have a tremendous track record of being able to we have never not paid the bill on time. Sometimes it's been a struggle. Sometimes folks had to put up a little dough, but at the same time, there is no record that says that LAPA was late in paying Comcast. And that's the kind of record that we want to hold on to. And we want to also hold on to the fact that our community is sponsoring us, is with us 100%. And this dance, people talk about it, don't think that these people aren't watching. And when they come and see this kind of effort, it makes them realize that the community is still behind us. So I'm surely encouraging all the people that supported us during the effort to maintain 28, and they did a great job. We're asking them to continue that, and that's where the process comes in. You know, we don't want to be crises. We went to City Hall, then everybody went home and went to sleep. We want to make sure that this process that continues, it's a continuing effort to make this work, and the whole bottom line is it's community based. It's the village that will raise this child. You know, we can't do it by ourselves. We want the community, the village, to be a process. So that's kind of what I'm very interested in tonight. And what's your thoughts on that?
Of course, I mean, I agree with you, and I definitely want to encourage the community. You said Wilmington, what, Newcastle County?
Newcastle County,
To come
you're
out,
right.
because I
you're
mean,
right.
everyone watches it. I could be on my way to visit you and stop at the Walgreens, and somebody would say, "I see you on the Congo Hour." So people watch from all of Newcastle County. So we want to invite all of them to come out and support and enjoy the evening.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that, because it is a Newcastle County. I mean, we cover that, and we provide that service out there. And it's important that we get together. You know, I realize that crime cannot be prevented by hiring more policemen. You know, that's been my whole thing. And people say, oh, we need more cops. We need more community. And the greater effort from the community, the less crime will be. I'm convinced. I am convinced you could cut the police department in half, bring in more community people, and we'll have a better result than we would if we doubled the police force. Because if we govern our own communities, nobody's going to do anything wrong, because somebody will see it.
Right.
And so as a result of that, you know, I'm encouraging all of our communities in Wilmington to stop and think about how we can really prevent crime and violence, and encourage more athletic facilities to come up all over town. I know that the city has reduced, I think, funding for the Hicks Anderson, and that's a really, you know, and the fact that they're closed on the weekends
It's crazy.
is crazy.
I agree with you.
We have to find ways and the community can do something about that if they rally around that, and they can do that through LAPA.
Right.
You know, we get on there, everybody gets on this TV and begin to talk about that specific issue. I'll bet you it'd be open on the weekends.
I believe you.
Yeah, so that's why it's important that we start off by giving this great attempt, not only attempt, but effort, and everybody comes out for the 400 people that we're going to need to get the budget funding to do the things that LAPA has to do in order to survive. So I'm pleading to the community to buy tickets, and you can, I don't know all the phone numbers.
Well, I know, since it's Sammy's Corner, we want everybody to call Miss Congo. Tell her that Sammy said that to get a ticket, and that's why you're calling. And the number is 652-8887, 652-8887. So when we ask, how did you hear about us, they're going to say Sammy's Corner.
Absolutely.
Okay?
So
All right.
that'd bring 400 people.
By itself.
Yeah.
So you might
So
need a
we just
bigger
sit-
venue.
We probably do. Because of all my friends who say they're my friends, and I'm sure they are,
Right.
understand the importance of it, they'll call in and sacrifice the dollars that keeps this communications open.
Just on the fact that you rarely ask people to do anything.
Well, I do, you know, and I understand how tough it is out here right now. But it's important, this effort is important to the village. And the village needs to understand that the sacrifice, even if it's a sacrifice to keep this channel open so that the media this is the only media that we can depend on.
Right.
And we can't allow this media to go to tapes or nothing. It has to be live. It has to be call in. It has to be hearing from the community about it. So I'm going to give you guys back a couple minutes.
Okay.
and thank you for being on here with me, Wayne. That's very important. It's just seeing you in black and white,
I guess
allows
that's why
me.
Trippy didn't come over here with us.
Absolutely, he does not look as good as we do.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
He
So-
says he looks better, I'm sure.
Phew. Anyway,
All right.
give Cherry's number. Do you know Ruth Baker's
I
number?
don't know Miss Ruth, but we're showing the promo,
Yeah.
and we'll show it again before we
Okay.
end, so they can get all the
Okay,
numbers.
please
they
do that.
need to
That means
call.
I need to shut up right now.
All right, so we're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be back with our funeral announcements.
Welcome back to Congo Hour. It's time to give our funeral announcements. First, we have Miss Caloria Rice, age 92, who passed away June the 19th. Her funeral services were on Wednesday, and her burial took place in the Mount Lawn Memorial Park in Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. Miss Carla White, age 50, departed this life June the 17th. Her funeral services were also on Wednesday, and her burial took place in the Silverbrook Cemetery. Mr. Theodore Archie, age 52, departed this life June the 15th. His funeral services were on Friday, and his burial is private. Miss Marion Lewis, age 61, departed this life June the 18th. Her memorial services were held on Friday, June the 27th. Miss Lerma D. Wyndham, age 52, departed this life June the 18th. She's affectionately known as Midgie. Her services were held yesterday in Smyrna, and her burial took place in the Mount Pisgah Church Cemetery in Summit Bridge, Delaware. Mr. James Butler, age 53, departed this life June the 23rd. His funeral services were also held yesterday, and his burial is private. Services for Miss Catherine Dutton, age 88, who passed away today, will be announced. Services for Mr. Walter Rogers, age 86, who departed this life June the 26th, will be on Thursday, July the 3rd at 11 a.m. at the Ezon Fair Baptist Church, 1400 B Street. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and his burial will be in the Delaware Veterans Memorial Cemetery. Miss Annie Hunter, age 72, who departed this life June the 19th. Her funeral services will be on Saturday, July the 5th at 10 a.m. at the Fight for Family Fellowship Church, 1016 Thames Street in Belvedere. Viewing will be from viewing services will be from 8 to 9:45, and her services will begin at 10, and the burial will be in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Services will be announced for Miss Phyllis Reed, age 67, who departed this life on June the 26th. Services will also be announced for Miss Catherine Temple, age 86, who passed away yesterday. And that does conclude all of our funeral announcements. If you have any questions, please call us at the funeral home, 652-8887. Also, you can go to our website at www.congofuneralhome.com. If you ever want to be a part of the Congo Hour, you can always call Wayna at 521-7325. Once again, her number is 521-7325. We have just one quick community news announcement. On Saturday, July the 26th, it's going to be the 20th annual People's Festival for Peace and Tribute to Bob Marley. That's going to take place again on Saturday, July the 26th from noon to 6 p.m. It's going to be that's on Sunday. For more information, please call 656-2021. 656-2021. It's going to be at the Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park, as it always has been. So for more information, please call 656-2021. Some of the headline bands are going to be Third World, I Octane, and the Conqueror, and the Globe Band. And plenty more artists. It's going to be a great event. It's always a great family event. Matter of fact, I think some of the representatives from the festival will be on our show in a few weeks just to give you some more information. All right, we will see you next week, God willing, and thank you for watching.